has to do first.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
For my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching, hey, 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 motivation.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
I miss all my friends in school.
Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccine.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
All right, hello, good evening, and welcome to another live edition of the ONG Strike Zone. I am Brian Fulford on a remote location this evening, and my brothers from their home studios, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway. Uh, Guys, it's good to see you. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. As you see, I'm in my remote location at an undisclosed location.
You better be James Bond on tonight.
I better be what?
You better be all remote and underground and all that other stuff.
Yeah. Look, I scrambled for the last 2 hours trying to find a place that would be open late enough, and then a place that had a good Wi-Fi connection. So let's just hope everything works out. Knock on wood, fingers crossed. Kelvin, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Enjoyed my weekend, my 4th of July weekend. I hope Rattler Nation, all y'all guys did the same. I know that you were moving and so forth, but I'm glad you got that taken care of. And I'm glad you changed your shirt too, because that shirt you had on earlier, man, it just wouldn't have fit with our show.
I don't know what you're talking about. What shirt? Pull your microphone closer to you there. Yeah, that was the workout. That was the workout shirt. My lounging around working. Did you know one of the sweatiest cities in America happens to be the one that I am currently in? And Kelvin, you happen to be in another one,
Number
top
5.
Number
Yes,
5. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I agree with that
Orlando
poll.
comes. I certainly do too. That's all I did this past week was sweat. Everywhere I was standing inside sweating.
Well,
now some people may say that.
I personally don't think, obviously, in terms of hot, right? Orlando, I don't think is hotter than Tallahassee. I think it's just the fact that more people do a lot of walking because of all of those tourist sites that y'all have down there in Orlando, Florida. You walk around Disney World, you're going to be sweaty. You walk around Universal, you're going to be sweaty. You walk around any of those amusement parks, you're going to be sweaty for a long time. It's just, you're going to be out in the sun, you're going to be waiting in line, you're going to be trying to get food, trying to get water, going to the parking lot, all that stuff. It's just hot like that. Now, Tallahassee, is legitimately one of the hottest places in America. And if you are unlucky enough to be working outside or have to be outside, boy, that heat in Tallahassee is no joke.
And did you see the other 3 cities were I think you had Corpus Christi was in there at number 2. New Orleans, I think New Orleans was in there, maybe in the top 5, and I can't tell if Baton Rouge was one, or it felt like there were 2 cities in Louisiana, somewhere around the Gulf. But
New Orleans, you do a lot of walking as well. You got the Mardi Gras, you got all that heat out there, you right on the Gulf, you got the French Quarter. People love to tour and do a ton of walking, so all of that is a factor to how much you're legitimately going to sweat. Plus, all those people that are down there currently for the Essence Fest, Freaknik number 2, that's what's going on.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by people who can just walk around and not sweat. But anyway, Essence Festival was over the past weekend, so hopefully everybody had a good, enjoyable 4th of July. Obviously our country had another tragedy, another tragic event that took place. I don't know about you guys, but as I watch these events, and this is total sidebar here. I know we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I'm beginning, and you know me, so I know you're going to fuss at me for being a nervous Nelly. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and you get that out the way, so don't even say it. But I'm legitimately starting to, very, very small, starting to worry about being in large crowds and large events. Now, I'm not going, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at some of this stuff that's happening, a fireworks festival, all of a sudden, doesn't matter, daytime, nighttime, it doesn't matter ethnicity. This stuff seems to be happening at too high of a rate. So I don't know, man. We got a lot of things going on that are playing against those of us who like to go and be in large crowds, especially with this upcoming fall football season. You've got gas prices at high rates. You've got this kind of stuff happening. I don't know, man. That's just my own
Well,
personal thing.
we unfortunately are living in a very dangerous time right now, where mental health issues are increasing on a daily basis. And unfortunately, many of the people that are dealing with those issues have firearms. Um, and they're hearing all kinds of voices that are telling them to do strange, unusual, and evil things. And so it is necessary, uh, I would say in any crowd, of course, to take precaution for those people, but then also, COVID ain't going nowhere, and neither has the flu, and neither has any of this other stuff. So, it's necessary, I think, for us all to take precautions, no matter what crowd or what area we're in. I try my best to stay prayed up. In addition to that, I take um, a large amount of vitamin supplements that I believe could help boost my immune system, so that when I'm out among people, um, if my body or when my body comes into contact with those that may be carrying a virus or of some sort, that my body's able to fight it off. So it's necessary, of course, right now to definitely use wisdom for, unusual circumstances, unusual people. I try to train, people that are close to me. Um, Anytime you go to the grocery store or a gas station, you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Yes,
It's just necessary
yes.
in this. You go to the grocery store, keep your head on a swivel. You need to be able to look at four corners. You see somebody come in with a black trench coat, take precautions.
Yeah.
Take precautions. Absolutely.
I smell a new T-shirt, Kelvin. Prayers and vitamins. That's how I'm living. And I don't know,
and a whole thing of water. If you outside
Yep.
at all, you need a whole big old liter of Fiji. I love Fiji water. Give me that
There
Fiji.
you go. There
Hand
you
me
go.
that
See,
Fiji.
look. Right, not an official sponsor of the ONG just yet, but we do promote where we can. Hey, thanks to everybody who's out there already tuned in, watching us on YouTube and on Facebook, as well as Twitter. Also via our Jericho Broadcast Networks app, which you can download from the Google or Apple Play Store. Just go to MyJBN, MyBCSN is where you can download. And of course, if you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ONG Strike Zone. Also, the show is airing on the Black College Sports Network Facebook and Twitter feed at MyBCSN1. We are part of the Black College Sports Network, the only show dedicated to. I can't even say the only, because there are other people operating in the space distributing FAMU
We the
news
only.
and information.
We don't. We the only.
Okay,
The
so
first and
I
the
can
only.
continue to say that. All right, the first.
That's right. We
Yeah, we're
acknowledge
dedicated.
nobody else.
I love them all, but yeah, we're the first to give. What's that frown for, Kofi? What's that frown for? Dedicated to
Oh,
Florida
keep
A&M
going, keep going, keep
athletics
going.
and culture. Hey, as you can see right above the screen, if you're watching our Twitter handles, I don't know. I just see a bunch of letters. I have no idea what half that stuff is, but I'm assuming those are Twitter handles, Facebook handles, IG, and all that stuff. Coming up on today's show, we're going to get into talking about NIL. We're going to talk about, dare I say, super conference, mega super conference. I mean, of course, it is the summertime, so there's nothing better than some talk about conference churning to get us salivated for the upcoming year. We are 52 days away from opening game against North Carolina for FAMU football. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk with FAMU softball's Janaya Davis. And Jania is going to come on. She attended the NIL Summit that was put together by the company Influencer
spelled INFLCR. So if you saw that and didn't, if you just thought those were initials, it's pronounced influencer. Just in case you wondered. But she's gonna come on. She, along with I think 5 other Rattler college athletes, attended that summit, so we'll get a chance to talk to her and also a little bit about the softball season as well. And then coming up in the second half of the show, Gerald Thomas III, the newest FAMU beat writer that's been covering FAMU athletics for, let's see, came on board, I believe, about in April, so probably about 3 months in. So we'll get a chance to get a feel for, how things are going for him and what he's been able to dig up. He's been putting some great content out for the Tallahassee Democrat. And I promise, you all who are watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you'll get a chance to call in, give us your thoughts on things that are happening in your world as it relates to FAMU athletics, so on and so forth. Shout out to everybody that's already in the chat rooms. Make sure you go ahead and hit those thumbs up button if you are watching us. All right, so gentlemen, one of the first things we talked about, and I know we'll get 2 big topics, of course, was the news that came out recently as it was announced that USC and UCLA deciding to leave the Pac-10, move to the Big Ten, creating this mega coastal super conference that, I grew up in Big Ten country, so I never thought that I would see a day where the Big Ten would go from the West Coast to the East Coast, but that is reality. I'm sure many people never thought Oklahoma and Texas would be a part of the SEC, but as all that comes about, of course, now you're starting to see the movement and the trickle down, as even moves into the world of FCS and even HBCUs, because now, I don't know, just 1 year ago, FAMU joined the SWAC. And now look at where we're at a year later, almost a year later, and now we're talking, and the talk is circling about creating super conferences. So I guess let's just kind of start there in this opening segment, Kelvin, Kofi, and just what are your thoughts in general about the idea of an HBCU super conference, or just maybe conference churning, conference realignment in general?
So
Kel?
Well,
it's a reality.
yeah.
It's a reality. And it's something that we as HBCUs, we have to have the discussion and consider. And it has to start with, for me, does it make dollars? Does it make sense? But also separating yourself from what used to be, because there's a lot of things that used to be that aren't no more. They're not
Mm-hmm.
relevant anymore. You know, I used to at one time have an in television game system.
Listen.
I still
You
do.
know, yeah, I loved it, but you know, my kids wouldn't play with that game. It's pills in comparison. So the point is, the only point I'm really trying to make is that things change. So you have to start with that mindset. Do you want to be on the front end and you be the person making a change, or do you want to be the person, as the MEAC found out, and fighting for survival, regardless of what people say, losing 4 programs for 5 in like a 5-year period, including your flagship programs. Uh, that's a direct reflection on the leadership, and it and you have to be responsive. So in terms of HBC Super Conference, I think the SWAC is almost there anyway with 12 teams. Um, um, I personally, I you know uh, 2 FCS Division 1 conferences, HBCU conferences. Uh, I loved it, had no issue with it when we had that. But I must tell you, I love the idea of one HBCU super conference at the FCS level even more. And I'll explain why. One, We talk about the MEAC and those schools. A lot of those are concentrated in the East Coast and very metropolitan, highly populated, desired TV markets, right? So
Mm-hmm.
um, when you're talking about sponsorships and fundraisers, and the reason why some of these teams are doing some of the things they do, uh, those are the kind of things you look at. You look at the markets and the media markets and the advertising and potential, the revenue side of it. You also look at the expense side, which is why if you talk about a super conference and you combining the six Eastern teams, then you would have to have a division probably. And I've seen a lot of things floated around. I've seen a East Division and maintaining the SWAC West and a South. I'm sorry, and having like three divisions in football, and then I've seen where folks say you take the MEAC schools that were part of the MEAC and 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 the original SWAC, see where Tennessee State lies in this thing, and have just two divisions, and you play within your different regional friendlies. But as you can see, if depending on the money, what the Pac-12 has decided to do, is in UCLA and USC is they said, well, we understand that our non-revenue sports got to travel the coast now, but we feel like we're making enough money on the football side of it's a football decision they making on their revenue generating sport, the biggest one. And they saying we feel like with the TV money is worth the extra travel that they'll be doing. Now, of course, HBCUs have to look at it a little different, but I'm intrigued by that the possibility, and I don't think people should be dismissive of it. It needs to be flushed out a little bit, and we need to look at the real um, numbers in terms of potential revenue and do a kind of feasibility on it. But I like the idea of a HBCU super conference, but again, I like it at the FBS level, not at the FCS level.
What are your thoughts? Jumping there, Kof?
Well, like Kelvin said, it doesn't really do us a whole lot of good to be a super conference, super duper conference on the FCS level. You got all the teams. Like, holy moly, like, what are you going to do? So you have a championship game, and then after the championship game, what happens? Where do your teams go? How much money are you legitimately going to make? I think that once Tuskegee makes a decision and Tennessee State makes a decision, and hopefully, in my opinion, I would just love for Tuskegee and Tennessee State to join the SWAC. I think the SWAC would already be a super conference, and I think that's that. I think from a money standpoint, if our teams are looking to elevate and really cash in on corporate dollars, our HBCUs are going to have to go into, I want to say, more of an FBS model. Unfortunately, we're not as engaged. I want to say we're not where we need to be from an infrastructure standpoint as a whole to make that move. But hopefully, we have the type of leadership at our institutions that will allow us to have, I want to say, or activate that level of growth and insight so that we can one day get to that spot so that we're able to tap into those corporate dollars and bowl money. But here's the thing, the needle will always keep moving with your larger teams and conferences. Your Big Tens, your SECs, your ACCs, who else is it? The Big 12s. The needle is always going to keep moving. They're always going to have those relationships with your major networks and TV networks. So we have to strategically understand who we are and where we are and begin to build from right there.
Yeah, good point. I've said this for a while on other places, other shows. College athletics is recession proof. If you think about where our economy is, and I know myself and maybe many others are struggling financially in certain places and certain industries. One industry that is not suffering is college athletics. I mean, and the fact that when you hear about the amount of money that college athletics are generating, which are funding the largest programs, it does make smaller programs a little envious, and downright you can begin to question why we can't be a part of that, why we can't get into that. And so maybe I will say this: as we watch what's happening at the larger levels, something you just said, Kelvin, we have to sort of begin divorcing ourselves of how we used to think. Meaning, we used to fantasize about the national championship and playing against the best of the best. Well, look, everyone who's been the best of the best at the FCS level, with the exception of North Dakota State, what have they all done? They've all moved up to another level for a business model mindset of, hey, let's generate more revenue, improve facilities, um, play in bowl games. They aren't, there's no national championship. Think about all those schools over the past 20 years that we watched surpass FAMU. Those schools, Appalachian State, Troy State, they aren't in a national championship hunt, are they? No, but they are in a better financial place. And so when I hear people talk about wanting to, why isn't, for example, the SWAC competing for a national championship, and you hear players want to compete for a national championship? Well, I'll tell you, thanks to like NIL, I mean, now you have opportunities everyone has an opportunity to really divorce themselves of that old thinking. Players have an opportunity to earn money, generate revenue. You ask some of these athletes, would you rather earn, I don't know, $50,000, $75,000 off your name, image, and likeness, or compete for a FCS national championship, where the former may not be available to you, and but you can still compete for a conference championship. you know you could possibly go to a bowl, and you can still earn money off your name, image, and likeness. I bet you most of them would choose the NIL route. So I think it's one of those things that as we begin to move forward, we have to change our mindset. Let me show this graphic to you guys because amongst this whole talk, one of the things that was kind of funny that I saw, because obviously the super conference conversation, which we'll get into a little bit later, that's been going on for almost 20 years. I remember when the first talk of a super conference came up back in the mid 90s. Remember, it was like FAMU, A&T, Grambling, Southern, Tennessee State. Who else am I missing? There was like it was like an 8-team super conference to move up to the FBS, right? You guys remember that? Remember those initial conversations right when those came up?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mel, if you can show the graphic, this was somebody's proposed realignment for the NCAA. I want you to take a peek over, let's see, second column at the bottom, down there in Conference USA. And because of all the shuffling, somehow you've got Southern, South Carolina State, FAMU, Grambling, Jackson State, A&T, Alcorn, Alabama State. How many is that? One, two, that's eight schools, mostly from the SWAC, joining Conference USA along with some other schools in this new NCAA alignment. So I just thought that was kind of funny to look at and see that all of a sudden, where you start trying to find schools, all these mid-major conferences all of a sudden start looking at what? HBCUs or FCS conferences. I don't know. Any quick thoughts when you look at this map, guys? Any quick thoughts when you look at this? I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter when this was going down.
I did see it.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I tend to think the best chance at a FCS FBS conference for HBCUs is to move up collectively, and you got to remember that the SWAC announced that and the SWAC commissioner announced that potential within the next 7 to 10 years. A couple of years ago, when we were coming into the conference, that was a desire to move up as a conference. Now, will everybody be able to do that? Realistically, no. There will be some schools that'll be left out, but the core of the SWAC with the attendance leaders leading the way, I think would be positioned to do that. And adding Tennessee State would make that more of a reality. I mean, that scenario that somebody came up with is, it's pie in the sky, but it's possible.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not possible, but I don't see that right now. I think the best chance is if we move up collectively. I believe that scenario will become a real possibility if we don't work together. I would like to see a super conference not only at the FCS level for HBCUs, but at the Division II level.
Division II, yeah.
Yeah, we do it all at the same time. Realign to where we based on our resources, the ones who can't support the FBS vision, with facilities and attendance and resources, then I like them to be part of the reconfigure either FCS, HBC Super Conference, or the Division II Super Conference. But it's something that we definitely need to talk about, and whether we want to or not, movement's already happened. And I want to address Dwayne Sweet right quick, because he was like saying about schools being left behind. You can make that argument about HBCUs right now at the FCS level. When the last time someone won a national championship? One time, FAMU, the first national championship. And outside of Billy Joe years when we made that run to the semifinals, nobody else has really even made a deep run. So how
and
many
that
of us
almost
think
didn't
that we
happen.
really? Yeah, and how many of us
That
really
almost
think
didn't happen. Yeah.
we're close to North Dakota State at this point in terms of being able to win? So staying where you are, don't guarantee that you're competitive out of conference. We've got to do what's in the best interest of first our own university, but as collectively, I think we got to open our minds to something new. It's coming whether we want it or not.
Hey, real
And I
quick,
want to
Kofi,
say,
before we go to a break, go ahead.
No, I want to say that in order for us to really get to that spot, it begins with leadership, okay? Because unfortunately, we put all of our eggs in one basket. Football. If we have eggs, we put them all in that one little basket. But there's several other sports that that come along with trying to be successful. And personally speaking, I believe that you can be successful in all of them, provided that we have the right leadership in place. With the talk of trying to get top flight recruits in basketball, that begins with our infrastructure. That begins with our commitment. Same thing with baseball, same thing with track, same thing with tennis, same thing with anything that we look to be successful in. It begins with that level of commitment. So this is where we as alums and we as supporters have to come together to say, and state, this is important to us. This is what we desire to see. Let's try to get this done. Not let's try, let's get this done for the sake of the future of our athletics program and the prominence that comes along with it, with the exposure that comes along with it. If we want it, we can have it, but we have to commit. Nothing happens without commitment.
Well said. Let's take a break. Coming up on the other side, we're going to talk to Janaya Davis. We're going to get into some NIL talk from one of our very own softball players who had a chance to go to the recent NIL Summit and find out what she came away with as she looks for her opportunities in this new world of name, image, and likeness. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Are you ready? It's time. The inaugural Urban NerdCon is coming to Montgomery, Alabama, July 29th through the 31st. Blurs, nerds, and geeks from across the universe will converge on the capital city to see celebrity guests such as The Last Dragon, Tybok, Megan Tandy, and voice actor Dave Fennoy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm voice actor Dave Fenoy with a shout out to all my geeks, freaks, and urban nerds. Just want to let you know I'm going to be there and I want to meet you at the Urban NerdCon Gaming and Cosplay event. It's happening July 29th through the 31st in Montgomery, Alabama. Hope you want to meet me as much as I want to meet you.
So join us by visiting theurbannerdcon.net for ticket and vendor information. This will be the premier blurred event in the universe. Theurbannerdcon.net. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm. Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
For my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching, hey, 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 motivation.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
I miss all my friends in school.
Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccine.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway. Yeah, I am live and remote from the friendly confines in Altamont Springs, Florida. Yes, they're jamming tonight. Obviously, if you are in the Altamont Springs area, I want to encourage you to come to Friendly Confines, located in the Altamont Mall. Joining us, Janaya Davis. Janaya, one of our FAMU softball players. How you doing, Janaya?
I'm doing well today. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I look. I hope I'm going to put myself on mute after I ask questions because as much as entertaining I'm sure it is, it's a little distracting, and we don't want to miss anything that you have to say. So obviously, Janaya, part of the class 2023 FAMU softball player, came in 2019, excuse me, and you're from Atlanta, Georgia, correct?
I am.
So tell us a little bit about your background in terms of, how you found your way to FAMU, what your current major is, and
I think he got frozen, but
I think he got that
Janaya, you can
snipe.
go
That
ahead.
snipe. So tell us a little
Yeah,
bit
Okay.
go
about
ahead and give
yourself.
us your backstory.
Okay, greetings. I'm Janaya Davis. I'm a rising senior from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm studying business administration. Shout out to SBI. How did I come up playing softball? I've been playing since I was 8. I started off at Exchange Park for a year, and then I ended up at Browns Mill under the infamous Richard Lee. He has been in the softball game for years. He has produced amazing African American softball players, and I was so lucky to be a part of, his upbringing, his coaching. So fast forward to my senior year, I played with Brownsville up until my senior year, and unfortunately, I played with an all black team. Not unfortunately, but none of us had scholarships. Up until my senior year, I did not have any softball scholarships, none. And so, unfortunately, we had to break off and go to different softball programs that were white. And by the grace of God, I ended up having 5 to 6 scholarships when I was about to graduate. Now, I always want to come to FAMU. I kept emailing them probably since I was a junior, and they was never responding. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why they not responding? And so I thought it was me. I thought, it's not my timing. So I ended up graduating, and I took a visit to TCC actually. And when I got in contact with FAMU, they didn't have enough money for me. And so they suggested that I go to TCC. And TCC ended up taking me under their wing. And I played with them for 2 years. And then I transferred this year to FAMU. And it has been the best experience of my life.
Awesome.
exactly.
Oh,
Congratulations! I'm glad it worked itself out for you. And what
Yes.
what position did you? What position do you play again?
I play center field.
So real quick, give us your summary of this season and tell us you got to at some point you got to tell us about the softball stroll because you ladies
Okay.
are doing the thing this past year. You got to give us the 411 on that. Kelvin said he's gonna be a part of that next season, but we're just curious. You can tell us a little bit about it if you would.
So our first year in the SWAC, we went 18 to 31. It wasn't the best that we could have produced. We definitely have more improvements to do this upcoming season. I tore my hamstring twice, unfortunately, this season, and it was very challenging mentally, physically. I don't get hurt. This injury was so new to me, and it was a shocker, and it just humbled me to really be a team player. Seriously, like it taught me to allow people to produce on the field just by me cheering. Like I played my role. I played in a total of 13 games. Within those 13 games, I ended up having a batting average of 281. I had 13 stolen bases. I had 13 attempts, so I was 100% safe every time. um, the season was good. I feel like we made a lot of noise in the SWAC conference. Southern kicked us out. That was our last game we played. They definitely had some good hitters. I think that we had better hitters. I think that we're the best in the conference. It's just about us putting, pieces together. We had about 4 transfers this year. That was, a new, addition to the team. And this was Constance Orr, my coach. This was her first full year actually being head coach. So this season was definitely like a learning process for everybody. And so now that we all have the pieces together, it's gonna be good next year. Like, no doubt about it. And our freshman class that is coming in, super talented. Our freshman class this year, they're super talented. They're very hardworking. They never complain. I'm like, this class is like sent from God. Like, they were just on it. So next season, it's gonna be really, really good. We really need the support. We had a good amount of support, but we need more because we can put on a show.
For sure, for sure. Go ahead, Kelvin. Jump in there. Let's get us going.
So, you were selected. I don't know if you were selected or you applied. How did you to be a part of the group
I
that
was I was
participate?
selected.
Okay, all right. So, just kind of talk about that process. Why you wanted to participate, be a part of the whole influencer presentation, and tell me about the experience itself and what did you learn from being a part of it.
So I'm not gonna lie, I really did not know what I was signing myself up. I just knew it was an opportunity and I just wanted to go and see what it was for itself. And so when I signed up, they emailed us all the information, and then when they told us that they was gonna fly everybody out and give us, hotels for free, I'm like, really? So we went, and it was free. I had to pay for parking though, but the experience was definitely an eye opener for me as a HBCU student. It made me realize that we don't have access to as much as the other schools do when it comes to name, image, and likeness. Like, we were there amongst people that had over 10 deals making money as a student athlete, and it's like, we FAMU, we have a great marketing team, we have a great football team. Why don't we deserve what everybody else deserves? Like, we showed up as our authentic selves, and that's all that we could do. And I'm pretty sure that deals are going to be on the way this year for sure. Now that we went to the event, we know what it really consists of. But throughout the event, we were able to network with people. We were able to talk to different companies. It was different agencies there. It was hard to see who was there actually for you or who was there for the money. Um, but we were able to have an HBCU panel, and it was all Black panelists, and they were able to drop some real gems for us and, get us in the right doors that we deserve to be in.
Talk about one or two of those gems that they dropped on you. Something that
So,
stuck with you.
number one, they just talked about building our brand as an athlete. Like, it's already attractive that we are athletes, but it's a luxury that we're Black athletes. And so just being your authentic self, they stress that a lot. Like, be your authentic self. And then they basically were explaining, like, within our community, it's enough money for everybody out there. Like, we don't have to seek out to different companies that may don't have the same values that we do just to make money. It's companies in the Black community that have the same values that we do. So they was, encouraging us to be yourselves and reach out to companies, because you just never know who wants, to represent, who you want to represent, basically.
Okay, where was that conference at, by the way?
The
Where did y'all
conference
travel
was
to?
in, you say what now?
Where did y'all travel to?
Atlanta,
The
Georgia.
conference. Okay.
Oh, the softball conference or the
No,
NIL?
yeah, that the
Oh yeah,
influencer.
NIL. Yeah, it was in downtown Atlanta. We ended up staying at the Omni Hotel, and the whole like 3-day event was at the Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame, College Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yes.
But well, sis, I love your energy. I love what you're bringing to the table. Is definitely all FAMU because FAMUans bring that kind of energy no matter where we go. People want to know who
Absolutely.
we are, and I appreciate that about you. So the softball team always brings it when it comes to energy. So
Yeah.
just in the dugout. So are you like a song leader for the team? Are you a chant leader for the team, or do you just get it and you just part of the choir and just be rocking with it? Which one is it?
So we actually have chant practice, and our seniors, they lead the chants.
Okay.
This was my first year, so I didn't want to go in stepping on nobody's toes. So I definitely learned the culture, and I learned, the soul that we, sing through our voices. It's an experience that you can't even explain to somebody. Like, I really hope and wish that everybody could come to FAMU just to experience it.
Right, right. I value what FAMU softball has really meant to the athletic culture from an APR standpoint, just from a spirit standpoint, from a championship standpoint. You talked about your expectations for next season. What is the team doing right now in the summer to prepare for next year? Uh-oh.
I think she got froze.
Okay, I was wondering if it was me because when I see people freeze and stuff, I get all see Brian. Brian's up there. He be frozen from time. He just be real still. So when he's still
All
like
right,
that,
she's back.
then it make me feel like he like
Hey,
sniped and everything.
sorry.
And I know about that because when my wife called from time to time, I try to do that little still face like I can't really hear what she talking about, like that. And then
All right,
I
she's
try to
back, Kofi.
unfreeze.
Go ahead with your question. Go ahead with your question. Good Lord.
No, but seriously, so um what is the team doing like right now in your off season to prepare for next season?
Really just resting, doing as much, recovery as possible. We don't have access to as many trainers because they are in the we only had one trainer this year, and she did a really good job. But we just resting our bodies, getting mentally right, because the mental game is really, really big when it comes to, women's sports, and, being in a group of girls. Like, we all come from different backgrounds, different, upbringing. So that mental game is definitely something really big in softball. So staying in shape, eating right. This is our hibernation season, I guess. Like, just recharge.
Let's go.
Yes.
Hey, Janaya, do me a favor. Is there any kind of extra light you have on in your room there where you can cut on that little extra light there?
Yeah.
All right, want to make sure everybody can. Again, we're talking with Janaya Davis, FAMU softball, attended the NIL Summit in Atlanta, Georgia.
Let's go.
There we go. There we go. Hey, so Janaya, one of the things coming out of the summit, um, and there's a lot of different ways we could go here, but let's talk about what type of companies would you like to be a part of and represent, because I think that's also something big for a lot of our alumni who are watching, a lot of our boosters who are watching, and that's why we wanted to do this, because there are opportunities that are out there for you guys. So what type of businesses would you like to support and represent?
I'm big on health. I love to eat healthy, so any vegan restaurant people on here, I would love to represent y'all. Skincare for sure. Anything
You have
athletic,
a nice
yes.
smile though. You can do some teeth stuff too.
Okay. Any orthodontists, any dentists on here, I can represent y'all.
Let's go.
Like, I can represent it all. So really all businesses that are, God fearing and good for our community, I am here for it.
Now, coming out of
Awesome.
that bit, whether it be the school or the NIL Summit or influencer, how can alumni reach out to you? So if we want to move forward from here, how can people who are watching the show or listening to it on our podcast, how are they supposed to connect with Janaya Davis?
Really through our social media platforms. Like our social media platforms is like our business page almost, and that's the, it refers back to that building your brand. You don't want to like represent a company and you got, crazy stuff on your Instagram page, on your Twitter page. Like even when we were in high school, like our coaches taught us like build your profile. Like when you're trying to get recruited from coaches, they want something clean, they want something that, be a good representation of the school. So definitely social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter. My Twitter is _JLove with 2 A's, and my Instagram name is Janaya Davis _. So feel free to reach out through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's where it's at. I'm also on LinkedIn, so that's really good to reach out as well.
Kofi, Kelvin, anything you want to add before we wrap up here with Janaya?
Yeah, Janaya. I want to know. You mentioned it was an eye opener in terms of some of the things that other athletes from bigger schools who had more resources had access to. Kind of talk about those things that you all learned or seen from those other athletes, and what kind of difference that you noticed.
Well, the difference is really not that big considering that we go to the illustrious FAMU. Like, we have the resources, we have the team to build whatever we want to create, to be honest. And FAMU is growing, and, the women's ESPN, they posted us. So it's like, y'all see us, y'all know we're here. It's just a matter.
Froze
Is that
again.
me? Is that her?
No, that's her.
All right. But I like her energy, man. Like she, she legit is represented. She's definitely somebody I think that's a force to be reckoned with, and I think somebody that'll represent a brand and FAMU well.
Man, the picture with the new uniforms, softball
Right.
uniforms. She was one of the first persons that was shown with the new uniforms. That was fire, man.
Let's go.
That was fire. Yeah,
All
she
right.
she, she was
Sorry,
she was
guys.
representing. No, you good.
It's all good.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
finish up.
But yeah, so the big difference there, I mean, the people that had the NIL deals, it was one student athlete there. He is from Norfolk. He won King of NIL actually, and he has 66 deals, and he goes to HBCU. So it's like, wait, you go to HBCU, I go to HBCU. You have 66 deals, and I have 0. So let me see what's the difference between me and you. It's not about, who's short in the resources. It's about really connecting with the people in your community. That's all it is. So that event taught me that networking is really, really big. Oh
You're
my
talking
goodness.
about Raekwon Smith, king of NIL. I think it's who she's talking about. And yeah, I would encourage all HBCU college athletes to go talk to Raekwon, and because his hustle is real. I mean, he spent the past year chalking up 66 different NIL opportunities. So, yeah, what I was saying, Janai, you need to make sure you get in touch with Raekwon. If you didn't exchange
Yes.
contact, we've talked to him before. He's on it. And hey, by the way, our alumni already coming through. There will be at least one person I know contacting you, Janaya, possibly with some NIL opportunities. So that's how you have already made an impact in this space. So, shout out to Dr. Lori there. We'll be reaching out. So,
That's
all right.
great.
I think we're getting the bug, the telecommunications bug here is affecting Janaya. Let's see if we can get her on one last time to give her the final word before we go to a commercial break. And that's what we want to do in this space, guys. We've got to find ways to connect our student athletes with you guys because there's NIL opportunities that we are missing out on. All right. So, Janaya, I don't know how much you heard. That's all right. No. Communications these days. That's all right. Hey, what I was saying is you're already going to get some contacts from this interview. I can tell you there's at least one or maybe even two people in our chat rooms who are already going to be looking into you. I'm going to give you the final word. Let people know once more what you're about, what you want to represent, and make sure you give your social media contacts as well. And I'll let you have the last word.
Yes, I'm Janaya Davis. Yes, I represent any brands that trying to, expand their customers. I value health. I value leadership. I value professional development. And I value the youth. Like, the youth need our help more than anything because they're the future. So, absolutely. My Instagram is my first and last name with the underscore. And my Twitter is JLove with 2 A's. And we need y'all support at the softball games.
Oh, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Yeah. And Kelvin said he's going to be there to learn the strolls. Kelvin's going to be there to learn the strolls. So during the preseason, we're gonna work that out.
Now, we work the concession stands during the football season, so you'll see us there.
All right, that's good. That's good. All right. Hey, Janaya, thank you for your time. We'll be in touch. I know because we want to stay in touch. We want to work with you.
Huh?
What'd you say, Kofi?
They're going to do something to get some eyebrow nails. They talk about your eyebrows, how they don't fleek.
I can represent
eyebrow nails. If there's any eyebrow nails out there, she can do the eyebrow nails for you. She can go and take care of that for y'all. All right.
There you go.
All right, Janaya, you did a great job representing. You're a star in the making. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming talking with us. We'll be talking more in the future down the road. Again, you guys go look her up, Janaya Davis. Make sure you hit her up on Twitter, Instagram, all her social media contacts, and get this young lady some opportunities. You want her representing your business.
Yes,
I'm telling you that now. Yes, you want her representing. So let's take a break, come back, get into a little more discussion as we get ready to head into the second hour. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Are you ready? It's time. The inaugural Urban NerdCon is coming to Montgomery, Alabama, July 29th through the 31st. Blurs, nerds, and geeks from across the universe will converge on the capital city to see celebrity guests such as The Last Dragon, Tybach, Megan Tandy, and voice actor Dave Fennoy.
Hey, how you doing? I'm voice actor Dave Fennoy with a shout out to all my geeks, freaks, and urban nerds. Just want to let you know I'm going to be there and I want to meet you at the Urban NerdCon Gaming and Cosplay event. It's happening July 29th through the 31st in Montgomery, Alabama. Hope you want to meet me as much as I want to meet you.
So join us by visiting theurbannerdcon.net for ticket and vendor information. This will be the premier blurred event in the universe. Theurbannerdcon.net. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi, as we head into hour number 2. Again, want to give a shout out to Janaya Davis again for joining us in the last segment. Special shout out to our guy, Marcus Green, who helped make that interview possible. Did some great, pre-interview work, helping to coordinate everything that went into that interview with Janaya. So, that could not have happened without Marcus's help, and so we definitely got to make sure I give him some love. And you guys are going to do your part, which is go and create some opportunities for Janaya. So it's just been over a year since NIL started, pretty much. I mean, we're July 1 is when NIL went live, and Florida A&M, became one of the first HBCUs to create the Rattler Sports Exchange with Influencer. So I put a post out earlier on all the social media accounts to try to find, are there any businesses, large, small, whatever, that are taking advantage of that platform and reaching out to our student athletes, our college athletes, because I don't know, we'll get into talking about it a little bit more, but that's an opportunity that we are missing out on. So, that NIL is changing the game in college athletics. And if we aren't recognizing, like, hey, I just saw on Instagram, did you guys see Isaiah Land's recent NIL on Instagram? You saw it?
Yeah.
Sweet Heat, I think, is the name of the company, right? You guys familiar with it up in Tallahassee? So
I'm not.
obviously you're not? Okay. Well, if you go
I don't
to
live in
Isaiah,
Tallahassee though, so.
okay. So, but if you have reason to go to Tallahassee a lot. if you go and look at Isaiah Land's Instagram story, you'll see one of his NIL opportunities is with a company that they claim to have the best wings in Tallahassee. Now, it kind of makes sense. He's a guy from Buffalo. Buffalo is known for, obviously, what? It's buffalo wings. So it's a great tie-in, right? So, but those are the opportunities that are they're plentiful for our guys. I mean, you guys saw Janaya Davis. If you guys aren't running to go bring Janaya Davis into your company, you're missing out. I'm telling you. I'm shout out to Dr. Lori. She recognized that real quick, and there's an opportunity. Hopefully, everything works out there. But there are a lot of other businesses. So we just want to know if you know somebody who is creating an opportunity for student athletes. We want to talk to them. We want to bring them into this space and have a quick conversation so that we can encourage more businesses, more alumni to be a part of this, because that's how we're going to make a difference in this athletic game. All right, let me transition, because this is a real important day in Rattler history, not just Rattler history, but in Black history, in Wimbledon tennis history, because on this day, in 1957. What's that? What are you saying?
This day, man, keep going.
Yeah. This day in 1957, July 6th, Althea Gibson, a Rattler, became the first Black person to win in a Wimbledon Slam And that's obviously Wimbledon's happening right now. So let's play this quick little montage or this quick little video snippet on Althea Gibson, and then give it over to Kofi, our resident tennis expert, and we'll talk a little bit about how big that moment was and is.
I was a little bit worried about the curtsy because I'd never tried it before, but I'd seen it done lots of times in the movies, and I was sure I could manage it.
Match points to Althea Gibson. Comes in, serves very fast, and Darlene Hart can only put it back of the net, and the new Wimbledon ladies singles champion, the first colored champion ever, is Althea Gibson from South Carolina.
They tell me I kept saying, "At last, at last." We stood at attention and waited as Queen Elizabeth walked gracefully out on the court. "My congratulations," she said. "It must have been terribly hot out there." Shaking hands with the Queen of England was a long way from being forced to sit in the color section of a bus going into downtown Wilmington, North Carolina.
Who could have thought that stands before you a Negro woman raised in Harlem and went on to become a tennis player with the help of many, many people, and finally wind up being a world's champion. As a matter of fact, the first black woman world's champion of this whole world. And believe it or not, I still am.
Miss Althea Gibson. Kofi, I want to turn it over to you. How significant was that moment in tennis history, black history, just in general?
That's huge. Absolutely huge. She opened the door for Arthur Ashe and so many others to come through. She launched, I want to say it was the mother for really, I want to say Serena and Venus coming on the scene as they are now. And Serena and Venus have opened the door for so many other African-American young ladies and men to pursue tennis as a sport. I want to first say that Althea Gibson went to Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University, and she was more than just a tennis player. I mean, she was an outstanding athlete, and if you just look at the pictures or even the videos, you could see how her athleticism was such a factor or determining factor in the match play. She was bigger and stronger and faster than many of the girls that she played. And it showed up in her serve, it showed up in her forehand, her ability to volley. All of those things matter. So let me say this. A lot of times as we look in our communities for young people to pursue sports, tennis needs to be a real option for many of our ladies. It's the most lucrative sport, I think, for our women. Right after that, maybe WNBA, but in terms of contracts, in terms of different things that are out there, if you're successful in tennis, you can really do some stuff and really go a long way. And I think that the time has come, for FAMU to do even more to honor Althea Gibson and to honor her legacy by making sure that there's a positive investment in our men's and women's tennis programs. Our tennis programs should not go lacking just because of what she brought to the table. So for, just the mere fact that we lost our men's tennis programs, we shouldn't have let that happen. That should never have happened. Plus, the men's tennis team boosts the APR tremendously. Not to mention, I would like to see our tennis team hold camps throughout the year. FAMU should be really a mecca or a magnet for African American or even just people that simply just want to learn how to perfect their game in tennis. I think that the opportunity is there to take tennis to the next level. I think FAMU should be a magnet for all of that. Unfortunately, currently it's not, but I think that we could. There are a number of us that are out there that are teaching professionally, that are leading other college programs like LaTron Mason, who led Georgia State, led Clayton State to a national title. We have Kamal, who is coaching Sloan Stevens. And all of this is, I want to say, a reflection of what Althea Gibson brought to the table and the doors that she opened for us to pursue tennis. And I think that we need to take that serious.
Kelvin, care to respond, comment, however?
It's historic. She was the first, so of course it's significant. Um, and I don't think we highlight or have facilities that are reflected of our legendary history in tennis, and particularly women's tennis. I would love to see an indoor facility with outdoor, of course. I would love to have electronic display boards and seating with covered seating with shade because it gets hot out there, as COVID say. And just I would, I would love a tennis, Althea Gibson tennis complex.
Center.
And so I'm hoping that I know, and there's actually been a little bit of research done. Some proposals has been gotten, I know, in the past, and just no traction to fund something like that. But that's a no brainer to me, and I'm sure if the right people with the connections we have in the industry, and that most of the tennis players, particularly black tennis players, live in Florida, uh, Georgia and Florida. So I'm sure we can
No
get
brainer.
assistance with with such a ambitious endeavor, and I just hope that at some point between the leadership in the athletics and the university and the president and the support groups that'll become a reality because you know Adele Gibson, uh, the legend, deserves it, and then our student athletes in our current program deserves it. So that's what I would like to see.
Well, I
It
want to
really,
say also, yeah, just really from a camp perspective, camps, not only camps, but then also tennis tournaments. Once we get the facility to to be fully operational with restrooms and all of that other stuff that comes along, the amenities that come along with having a tennis center. When you host these tournaments bring money and revenue not just into Florida A&M University, but into the city of Tallahassee. Florida is a tennis state. It's a tennis state. Serena and Venus trained in Florida. The mere fact that they have never stepped foot on our campus is mind-boggling to me. I'm like, how in the world they've been in the state this long and never come to FAMU? We got Coco Golf, who trained here in the state. We've got a number of pros. Sloan Stevens grew up in the state of Florida. Um, and many other African Americans, if they didn't train in Florida, they trained in Atlanta, which is less than 4 hours. Of course, that's FAMU North. All I'm saying is the opportunity is there for us to take advantage with the USTA and other African American tennis associations that are out there that will be willing to invest in something that would be a landmark for an institution like FAMU. Imagine a scenario where Venus or Serena comes and they do even a 30-minute hour clinic on our campus, and people are looking to come and even pay to be a part of that. That'd be huge.
yeah, it really as I think about it, it just adds to that list when we talk about the things that our new athletic director should have on his or her plate. And really, you could go sport by sport and talk about initiatives. And I would hope that the members of the whether it be the 18-member committee or whether it be this special search firm, whoever the candidate is, needs to be somebody that has a plan to build on, as you just mentioned, Kofi and Kelvin, to build on the legacy of our programs and improve them, make them more visible to the not only the campus community, the city community, but in the state as well. That should be a requisite for our new athletic director.
Man, it's so huge just simply because the money is there. I want to say one of the things, and the things that I try to live by, is one of the things is called the law of recognition. And the law of recognition basically states that everything we need is already in our midst, awaiting the recognition of it. We walk by people with millions on a daily basis. We walk by companies with millions on a daily basis. And now that we're around, or even with the internet, that whole thing with that happened with the HBCUs and that great outpour of giving that took place over a year ago, FAMU got left out just largely because we didn't recognize opportunities, didn't recognize potential relationships, or the need to invest or engage these people. We don't want to miss any more opportunities, because those opportunities are in fact there for the taking, there for FAMU, especially with our rich history. We have winning championship aspirations in tennis. FAMU is a wonderful tennis opportunity. In fact, even our sports programs, all of them have the potential to generate additional revenue if we perceive them properly.
Well said. Well said. Let's take a short.
Just to my brother Jeremiah Clark, if you want to.
Go ahead. You what? All right. Let's take a short break and come back with our conversation with Gerald Thomas III. He works, he's the FAMU beat writer for the Tallahassee Democrat. So he's used to asking all the questions, but now we flip the tables and we get to ask him a bunch of questions. And so we're going to welcome Gerald onto the show, as he is ingrained covering FAMU athletics full-time for the Tallahassee Democrat. Coming up on the other side of the break, you're watching the O&G Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm. Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Now, you can't live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi. It's a pleasure to welcome on the Tallahassee Democrats' newest FAMU beat writer, Gerald Thomas III. Find him on Twitter at 3PeteG. That's the number 3, Pete G-E-E. Gerald, welcome to FAMU. Welcome to Tallahassee. Welcome to the ONG. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate y'all for the invite. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, it's folks like you that you're out there doing the daily grind and getting information. So, it's a pleasure to have you on. Let's let people know who aren't familiar with you. Give us a little background, if you can, the short abridged version of where you came from, how you got into covering athletics, and how you found your way to Tallahassee to cover FAMU.
All right. Well, I come from Savannah, Georgia. That's my hometown. As a kid, I went to Frank Callan Boys and Girls Club. Graduated the class of 2016 from Bethesda Academy, and then from there I went to Valdosta State. Didn't really, I always knew I liked to write. I found out that I really liked to write maybe my junior year of high school, but I really didn't know, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. I didn't want to like write books or nothing like that, but I know that I enjoyed sports. I played football in high school, so once that chapter of playing was closed, I decided to, still stick around sports. So I went to Valdosta State. Just mainly took classes my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, I got into the on-campus newspaper as the Valdosta State University Spectator. At the beginning, I was just covering national sports, and then my second year there, my junior year with the newspaper, I started covering Valdosta State athletics, and that was the season that they won the national championship in 2018 against Ferris State. And then a year later, the local newspaper, Valdosta Daily Times, they reached out to me and they asked me to string sports for them. So I started off doing Brooks County High School out in Quitman, and then I got moved over to Lowndes High School, and that was those are really two big projects because Brooks County, they went to 3 straight state championships, and in Lowndes they were nationally ranked in high school, and they had, they just had a bunch of guys going to all these big schools. So, the Lowndes, that's what I always say that I wouldn't be where I would be. I wouldn't be where I am now without Valdosta and all the things that shaped me. And then I moved out of Valdosta less than a year ago. So I actually moved like 2 or 3 times within a year. I moved back home to Savannah. I started working at the Bryan County News and the Coastal Courier. They were under the same umbrella of business. So I was the sports editor. So I was, doing everything. I was everywhere at games. I was the only person on the sports staff. So, I had to be everywhere. And then this opportunity came about. Talked it over with my parents. I'm 24 years old, but I still go to my parents, go to my family, see how they feel about it, and they were behind me. And next thing you know, I was in Tallahassee.
So awesome background and congratulations. I'm curious, when you taking on this job with FAMU and covering FAMU, at the time that you covered, what did you know? What were your expectations coming in? How did the Tallahassee Democrat, their editors, maybe even previous beat writers, how did they prepare you for what you were walking into? Or maybe a better question is, what was your initial approach as you're coming into this role?
Man, I know this. First of all, FAMU always had a special place in my heart. When I was in high school, FAMU was actually one of the places that I wanted to go to. But of course, I ended up going to Valdosta State. So, firstly, I want to say that I'm happy that I can be affiliated with Florida A&M, in a positive manner and tell people stories the right way. Uh, but I saw it was an opening and I applied for it. Didn't really think much of it. And then next thing you know, I got like an email like maybe like 10, 11 p.m. I know I was in bed. And we set up an interview. We talked about it, talked about the job, say you're gonna take Florida A&M. And I was like, cool. That'd be something that I'm interested in because I know it's a good culture here, and I know it's good athletics here, and I love covering, good teams and teams that have a good background and are prestigious. So I knew it would be a lot. I knew it would be a lot, and it is a lot. People crazy about their rattlers. Sometimes I go to the 220 quarterback club meeting and I'm like, hey, you know, I saw what you put in there. I wasn't. I want to know why you did that, but I know it's all in good spirit. Like I said, I just try to tell the story the right way, and yeah, I felt prepared to take on the task. I'm really excited for football season. I've met some of the guys. I ran into Isaiah Land last week. I ran into him the same day I spoke with Marquise Bell when he was here getting ready for training camp. So Coach Simmons, he's been very helpful. The communications guy, the athletics, Josh Padilla, just everybody just been so welcoming. Oh, my boy Mike Smith. Everybody just been so helpful and welcoming here to Tallahassee. So it's made the move very, very smooth, because I came by myself. I'm here by myself. I actually recently found out that I have a cousin that live here. So it's me and my cousin. But I appreciate everybody that has helped me with this move to Tallahassee.
Well, enjoy it now because, ain't no telling how long it'll last once the season gets going in the fall, Gerald, depending upon what you write about. Kelvin, go ahead.
Yes, it's definitely the honeymoon period right now. I'm interested to know your approach and of course, I know you're a professional and everything, but your philosophy, what you hope to bring in terms of telling sports stories about FAMU athletics to the world, but definitely the local community. We are a rabid um, fan base that that can be very aggressive, frankly, and we'll verbalize what we see and feel, so you can't be sensitive about that. But I've seen a lot of the articles, and I think you bring some good depth and information, and I just kind of want to hear from you coming into your first season as the beat writer, and all the sports start kicking up. What you hope to bring and to tell Rattler Nation?
All right. Well, I mean, first of all, since I came in April, it was good that I came in during while a sport was still going on instead of being thrown straight into football in the fall. Because when I got here, softball, baseball, and track was all going on, so it was good that I was kind of got my feet wet a little bit. But what I look to bring is just telling the story the right way. A very good example of that is when I did my story on Isaiah Land when we talked about him staying at FAMU, and that was a very good time. We didn't even meet face to face. We were on the phone talking, but he told me a lot of things and he gave me a lot of information. So and another thing is I just try to let people know that I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular person. I don't come with no agenda. I'm just coming with a story to tell, and I want it to be a positive story every time. Um, you know, sometimes you have to put things in that you really don't want to put in, just like something just out of just like not good light come out. You just got to put a story together on it. But I wouldn't want anything bad to come out of FAMU. I just want to tell all the good things that happen. So so yeah, so that's what my main thing is, just telling everybody's story the right way. And if you got a story, let me know. I just spoke with after I spoke with Marquise Bell, I spoke with his aunt. His aunt sent me an email, and we talked on the phone that yesterday, and just was telling me about the things that he do in the community and stuff like that. And it said, once he, comes back and he do something in the community, a camp, or just speak to the kids or something like that, she would let me know. So I'm just trying to build as many connections. I try to be accessible. I try to do a good job with responding to emails from people, responding to DMs and things of that matter. So that's what I want to do. I don't want to just be the guy that just tell all the stories. I actually want to build a connection and meet people down here. Like I said, I came down here by myself, so I'm definitely open to meeting people in the community and just building relationships.
Well, man, you are not alone, man. You know, Valdosta, I consider it Metro Tallahassee anyway. So you've been a part of the Tallahassee community for some time. But let me just say, of course, welcome you again to Tallahassee, Florida. Thank you for what you are doing with the Democrat. It means a lot. And as my brother Kelvin stated, Rattler Nation pays attention to what's written. They pay attention to how it's written and all of that stuff. They want to know if Florida State got a picture on there, FAMU picture need to be up there. Just different stuff, different little things like that, making sure that we're not on the back page and just doing stuff. But I know that that's not necessarily your decision. But in terms of video content, is that something that you do as well in terms of video content? Because I know a lot of our people and a lot of the algorithms that are out there are more reactive to video content. Is that something that's a part of your repertoire?
Well, usually when I do my interviews, just depending on if I'm doing it in person, I try to get a video portion of it. I usually don't video the whole interview just because your arms get tired. You know what I'm saying? It kind of take away from your concentration. So I do a little bit of video interviews and when I talk to people. So yeah, that I can say that's part of my repertoire.
Let's go. Because a whole bunch of people are asking about your Instagram and everything. They trying to track you down and see what you all about and everything. So,
yeah.
what's your IG?
Don't give it to him.
What's your IG, dog? What's your IG?
My Instagram, I have all my photos and on there. It is Literary Craftsman, like literary LITERARY Craftsman CRAFTSMAN on Instagram, and then you already know Twitter. That's 3PG, the number 3 PEATGEE, and if you don't know why I got that name, it's just because I'm Gerald Thomas III. So I mean, I'm the 3P of the legacy.
Got
so
you.
It's 3P, and my nickname for my family is G. So 3PG. That's how that came about.
I appreciate you, man. I want to let you know, man, Rattler Nation is a launching pad into great and mighty things. So, I'm happy that FAMU is a part of your journey. And I'm looking forward to a very exciting year full of great content coming from you, man. I think it's going to be great.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm happy to be here.
Good. So you've been a lot of times at that Wild Adventures place over there in Valdosta. You spent a lot of time over there.
I went to Wild Adventures a few times while I was in school. Honestly, and I remember I always tell people about my interview for the Tallahassee Democrat. They asked me what I knew about Tallahassee. And, it was just 2 years ago I was in college. I graduated college in the spring of 2020, right when COVID took off. So I told him, I said, man, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like when I was in college, me and the boys, we used to come out here, and turn up a little bit. That's the main thing. But we come out here, take a day trip, go to the mall. I just, like I said, I just try to let people know that I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular civilian. You can see me out. You can see me out at the mall. You can see me out at a restaurant. Like I'm just a regular guy, and I try to be an open book to those that want to talk to me. Oh yeah, she said somebody in the chat said Wild Adventures during homecoming, that should be a good time. A lot of events during homecoming, especially when it was around Halloween. Yeah. But also stay a lot of events.
Nice.
Hey, well, definitely your youth and your close proximity and age to many of our student athletes is going to help get you into a lot of spaces that others aren't, because you're going to be able to relate to a lot of them, and that's going to be huge for you. So what they say with that responsibility, or with that privilege comes great responsibility. So I'm curious, your Title IX series, because we are at the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and I noticed you started down the path of talking about the cheerleading squad. I saw you also had the article with Coach Pillow. I don't know, was there a third segment to that series, or
Yes,
maybe give us a little
yes,
background on what you want to do with that series?
yes, there'll be it should. I'm trying to get to every single sport, every single women's sport at FAMU. It just came about. We just had a meeting, and it was telling us it's 50th anniversary of Title IX. So I really sat down with I sat down with Mike Smith, and we talked. I said, what's some things that you think I could do for Title IX? He said, what about maybe featuring a sport per week? So I said, all right, that sounds good. So he's really been helpful with getting me in contact. Next should be softball. I'm trying to get in contact with Coach Wiggins and Coach Orr and athletes, and so that should be next. So I've been enjoying the Title IX series, just hearing the different insight. I enjoyed speaking with Coach Pillow. I enjoyed speaking with Miss Tatum Frederick. So it's just it's been a good time, and I just been trying to find content, because during the off season it's a kind of dead period. So I've been trying to kind of hold people over until it's time for sports to pick back up again.
So the big question I have for you is, I see your series. The thought for me comes up: are we doing enough, or not? When I say we, is FAMU doing right by our women's athletic programs? I mean, is that what's in your initial conversations? What's your take on what you've seen in terms of how FAMU is working with our women's programs? Because I think your first article that you did on cheerleading brought up a few things that I know the cheerleaders have talked about in the past as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know all the in and outs of what FAMU do for the women's sports, but like everyone says, there's always room for improvement. So as long as they keep taking the steps, like Miss Tatum Frederick told me, it's always room for improvement. Like it's still a ways to go, but as long as FAMU is taking the right steps to satisfy that Title IX, equity, I think it would be good things to say.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
I'm interested to know, are you only doing writing for FAMU athletics, or will you be doing other things with the Democrat? And then the other question I have is, will you be traveling to some of the away games, and how, talk about the volleyball and the other sports, the non revenue generating sports coverage, how much of a presence you plan to have at athletic events in general?
Yes, well, for the Tallahassee Democrat, I mainly cover FAMU. I also help with with high school or community sports, like whenever I'm needed. As far as traveling, I plan on being at the Orange Blossom Classic. I plan on being at the Florida Classic. The obvious ones. I'm not sure what other. It really isn't up to me or what I travel
Right.
to. But I want to be. I want to be at as many events as I can. And that's for any sport. If I'm taking over the beat for FAMU athletics, and FAMU athletics ain't just football. FAMU athletics is not basketball or baseball. Like, it's everything. It's volleyball, golf, track. Like, I did the story on Rachel Robinson when she went to nationals, and that was like my first time ever writing about track. But I know it did well on the website just because she had a good story to tell. So I enjoyed talking to her. So yeah, I'm trying to get everywhere that I can be. Like I said, I'm the FAMU athletics reporter. I'm not just the FAMU football reporter.
Good.
Go ahead, Kof.
Yeah, man. So, since you missed the Tallahassee and, the homecoming and everything, you can come down and done all that. What is your favorite sports team outside of just FAMU? Or what's your favorite professional sports team? Who is your team?
My favorite team is the hometown team, the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh Lord.
I suffer with you, brother.
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite NBA team, but my favorite athlete that was in the NBA is Allen Iverson, and for football is Michael Vick. So those are the people that I grew up on.
Okay, did you play football?
I played football in high school at Bethesda Academy back in Savannah. I played right guard.
Right guard, for real?
Yeah, right guard.
Shucking down. That's all right there. So check this out. So last question, because one of our most famous alums, Herb Reinhardt, was the athletic director at Valdosta State. So did you have any interaction with him while you were there?
Well, first of all, I didn't even know Herb even went to FAMU. But yeah, I did. I talked to Herb a little bit. That was like, that was during like really like the younger part of my career. I feel like I'm still young in my career, but that was like the beginning of my career. So I talked to him a little bit, not like too much. Like, I mean, if we see each other, we probably, speak to each other. But yeah, I crossed paths with Herb Reinhardt, a little bit.
Cool.
Now,
he was
Gerald,
my NYSP counselor.
You say he was what?
He was my NYSP counselor back in the day. That was the National Youth Sports Program. So he was the one that walked us around all day in that heat. So he was part of my integral history as a FAMU Rattler and everything. So I appreciate him a lot.
Yeah, they're doing good things on that Valdosta State, man.
Absolutely.
So Gerald, let me give you like you don't need story ideas, but hey, since you're still young enough, we'd love to get a first-person account of what it's like to go through Willie Simmons' fall camp. So while you're young, there's an opportunity there to maybe, you can, put on the pads again.
Suit up, dog.
Suit up and first-person account.
Suit up.
And give the readers behind the scenes what it's like. That you might win an Emmy for that or something. What they call it? What are the sports journalism awards?
Man,
you might win an award for your coverage.
You trying to make that man fall out, man. You trying to make that man fall out in
hey, look, it looks like he's in shape. He said he's young. He played football. He's only 2 years removed from college. Come on now. All his predecessors couldn't do it.
He could do it. Let him go up against that tackling dummy one time.
Just an idea, Gerald. Just an idea.
It's funny because last week when I spoke with Marquise Bell, I was just watching him work out, and I text my friends. I was like, I think I could put on the pads like for like a day of practice or something like that. So I don't know if Coach Sims will see that as a distraction or anything, but that might be something to think about. But I know I have to take me a good ice bath following that.
Hey, get behind the scenes. Get behind the scenes with the Rattler football program. First person account from Gerald Thomas III. Unprecedented access. In the heat, sweating it out with brothers. I mean, man, I'm telling you, you'll win some awards. That's just all I'm gonna tell you. Hey, last question, because I know we got to get you out of here. Football season, we're 52 days away. From what you've been able to gather about the football program thus far, what's going to be the biggest, or what do you think are some of the biggest storylines for this team heading into the 2022 season?
Well, it's a lot of guys that's going to be out of the program after this year. McKay, Isaiah Land, Smith and Cherie. So it's really like the last dance for them. So I know that's going to be and BJ Bowler. This is his last year too. That's a lot of guys last go round. So I feel like that's going to be a pretty good storyline. Also, getting over the hump and winning the SWAC and getting that bid to the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. Because I love to go to Atlanta and cover that. I can't really
cover
root for.
that. Yeah, cover the
Yeah,
game.
I can't really root for teams, but I want to see FAMU go as far as they can, because the farther they go, I can go with them. So
Right.
So I'm excited. I hope they win the SWAC, so we can go as far and we get more content out of football, and go down to Miami for the Jackson State game. I'm excited for that one too. And the Classic. So man, I'm just real excited for the football season. I always tell people football is my favorite sport to cover. So every time the fall come around, man, I ain't gonna lie, I'll be a little drained, I'll be a little exhausted, but I'll be able to look back and like, man, it was a good football season.
Awesome, man. So you gonna be stepping with the alphas, or what you gonna be doing?
You said I'm gonna do what?
I said you're gonna be stepping with the alphas. You're gonna be doing your little stuff up there. You're gonna be doing a little stroll.
My stepping days and my stroll off days, man, they all went on. I done went into retirement. I let the young guys handle that.
Okay.
The young guys, come on. Says the young guy. You're killing us.
Yeah, he
Gerald.
say that
You're
till that
killing us.
music hit. He let that music hit around the bros, and let's see what happens.
Hey, Gerald, we appreciate your time tonight, man. It's a pleasure getting a chance to meet you, talk with you, and we hope we can do this more. I mean, because you're going to have access to guys, and we're going to be coming to you. We're going to be reading your stories, coming to you looking for information. So I'm going to give you the chance to close it out, let people know, whatever you want to leave us with, ways to contact you, so on and so forth.
All right. Well, first of all, I look forward to working with the FAMU community and meeting everybody out the FAMU community. You can contact me. My email is gdthomas@gannett.com. Gannett is spelled GANNETT.com. So like I said, I'm on Twitter. That's where I put most of my work at the number 3 PEATGEE 3PG. And I do a little bit of photography too on the field or on the basketball court. So my Instagram is Literary Craftsman, LITERARY Craftsman, CRAFTSMAN. So y'all hit me up. I try to respond to everybody. So just hit me up, and I try to give you a response as you see fit.
All right, a true Renaissance man, Rattler Nation. Gerald Thomas III, our new beat writer covering FAMU athletics, not just football, but covering all FAMU athletics for the Tallahassee Democrat. Gerald, I even renewed my online subscription with the Democrat just so I could keep up with your stories. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of those. Take advantage of those deals while you can, folks, and make sure you check out Gerald's work, because pretty soon they'll be putting it all behind a paywall. So you better get signed up early while you can. Hey, Gerald, thank you, man. We appreciate you coming on with us tonight. And Rattler Nation, especially a lot of the folks in the chats, really appreciate you coming on tonight. All right.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
All right.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir.
Bless you, man.
Gerald Thomas III, ladies and gentlemen. And 3PG. I love the Twitter handle. That is awesome,
3PG.
man. 3PG. And just to let people know, yes, I am actually in a solo disco room. It's just me and a DJ. I don't think there's anybody in the bar area, but that's sort of the soundtrack that's been going on in the background. I know I saw some people was like, "Is there music playing?" I said, "Yeah, that's my background." All right, so gentlemen, we've got about
He in the
5 to
boom
10
boom
minutes.
room.
Yeah, in the boom boom room. Yep, yep.
He tell us anything. He in the boom boom room.
Right, with these guys over my shoulder. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Woo! You let
Great
somebody come on
entertainment there.
past there with some brown liquor and stuff. We go ahead and
No,
have a
only water
conversation.
tonight. Only water tonight.
And chicken
Where the
wings.
other cup at? Where the other
Chicken
cup at?
wings.
That's what I
Yeah,
want. Where
yeah.
the other cup at?
Hey, let's well, I don't know, where do we go here? What do we want to wrap it up here with? We've got obviously the HBCU Super Conference was a big point of topic for everybody.
Well,
You
I
know,
think that's just the sign. That's just the sign that football season is in the air. Because that's a conversation that we have literally every single year. Ever since the internet opened up and we've had chat rooms, we've been talking about an HBCU super conference. So this is not the first year.
yeah, no, you're so right about that. I feel like this has been a 30-year discussion that's been happening, and I'm not really sure all of our internal things are in place like we need them to be. Yeah, we lost you there, Kofi.
No worries.
Yeah, so 52 days away from the start of the football season. SWAC Media Days coming up in a couple of weeks. I did find out from Josh Padilla that Isaiah Land and Xavier Smith will be traveling with Coach Simmons to SWAC Media Day, so we'll get a chance to see them. Um, like Gerald says, the last dance for Zay, last chance for Isaiah, last chance for a lot of guys to sort of to realize and capitalize on the dreams that we've been so close the last 2 football seasons that it really does feel like this is sort of a last dance kind of year. Also, I heard somebody mention in the chat asking about the strike zone or the strike tour. The no official dates yet on when the next dates are. As we get information, as we hear, it'll be good to have. Maybe our national alumni associations can tell us some more. We are working on a couple of interviews. Next week, we'll have Coach Shalom Pillow on the show. And also, we're working on President Curtis Johnson, the FAMU National Alumni Association president. Hopefully, we'll be able to have him on the show next week as well. So, already looking for a loaded first hour next week. All right. Any other thoughts, Kelvin, that you'd like to impart to Rattler Nation before we get ready to shut it down?
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate Coach Brian Henry from baseball. He was named today the head baseball coach at Tallahassee Community College after being our pitching coach and assistant head coach over the last 8 years. So he's definitely earned that opportunity, and I think he'll do a great job. Uh, it's a loss for our program, but it's a good sign when people are coming to your program to get coaches. I mean, you got some good coaches, and won some games. So that'll be a position that we'll have to fill within the baseball program. Um, and also, I saw where Chris Fadul was named to the Hampshire Honor Society as a student athlete who maintained throughout his academic athletic career above a 3.2. Of course, he's coming back off an injury and is a potential All American and NFL caliber talent. But he's also an awesome student. So, and we want to recognize his achievements off the field as well as on the field. So, congratulations to him on that also.
Kofi, what do you got for us?
Man, I'm so excited. I want to encourage the nation. I know that sometimes um, we take these moments for granted. But this is not a season that we need to be taking for granted in terms of our season ticket sales, as well as just our overall availability for our games. If you are watching this, we want all of Rattler Nation to show up at the OBC. We want all of Rattler Nation to show up for Albany State. We got to show up for Alabama A&M. We got to show up for Mississippi Valley. We got to show up for UAPB, and we know you're going to show up for the Southern University game. That being said, let's commit to taking Rattler athletics to another level. Let's demonstrate that we are a nation to be reckoned with. I'm excited about what is to come. I'm excited about the future of FAMU athletics. So let's get this thing done, man. I'm excited. Let's go.
Well said. Well said. Want to remind everybody again, first off, if you're watching us in the Facebook or YouTube chats, go and hit that thumbs up button. Let us know you like the show. Secondly, please go on Twitter or Instagram. Let Janaya Davis, let Gerald Thomas know that, A, you appreciate them coming on the show. Follow them. You know, that kind of thing kind of helps keep.
Did his sound go out?
You know what? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sound went out. I was on mute for your segment. Forgot to hit the button for my segment. So I'm assuming you can hear me now. So I'll go back and
Yes.
repeat
Yes.
everything that I said. So I was, it sounded like I was just talking to myself. I want to go back and just say, go and make sure you follow Janaya Davis, Gerald Thomas III on Twitter, Instagram. Let them know you appreciate them coming on the show tonight. You enjoyed the conversation. Learning about them, learning about what they're involved in and their role in what we have going on in this space, because that helps bring other guests on, so we can continue to bring in more people, more students, more influencers, et cetera, et cetera. Got to give a shout out to, again, Marcus Green for helping us with that interview with Janaya, as well as Josh Padilla. And then actually Marcus was big in helping us get Gerald too. So big win for our guy Marcus Green today. Big time show contributor. We appreciate the love. Hey, you can also contribute to the show. You can, as we keep this thing going, donate a cup of coffee, whatever, support the show. If you go to our Twitter feed and take a look at our profile, our pinned tweet gives a link to actually support the show via Square. So we want to encourage you guys to go ahead and do that. Thank you to those who have already done so and are doing so on a whether it be a show by show or monthly basis. We just thank you for your support of the ONG Strike Zone. Hey guys, next week it'll be our 1 year anniversary. So 1 year. I will try to run down. I'm going to go through all the shows and try to get a list of all the names and people that we've spoken with over the past
You
year.
ain't got to do nothing but play that Mississippi Valley interview, and we can just go home, bro. We can ride out. We can just talk off that one alone. This Vince Cole, the Coleman
best
interview,
moments, yes.
I will find that. Valley interview, that settles it right there. We ain't got to do nothing else.
I will find that clip, because that will definitely be one of the highlights of the past year, no doubt.
Look, everybody just show up with no shirt on next week, and we can just ride out just like that.
And see, you stupid. No. Interesting thought, though. Jesus. Woo.
Look. Everybody just take their shirts off and everything. Next week, boy, I'm telling you, we get the ratings up in here. We have about 200 up in here then.
Yeah.
Like Coleman lost his mind for real. That joker is crazy.
I'm going to go through the list, try to find out. But, yeah, next year, 1 year anniversary of the ONG Strike Zone. Thank you to everybody who's been a part of the journey. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ONG Strike Zone. Send us your thoughts and comments, ongstrikezone@gmail.com, and download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app on your Google or Apple Play Store. My JBM, my BCSN. That'll be it for Melody Lucas, our producer. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, Kofi. I think Kofi already checked out. Oh, there he is.
I'm here, man. I ain't checking out. I was thinking about
Kofi.
doing some stuff, and that was the Lord that just cut me off. That's what happened. So I'm going to just chill.
That's good. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Won't he do it?
That's Kelvin. Hey, let's get out of here. Kelvin, Kofi, I'm Brian. Hey, Rattler Nation, be smart, be safe, and make sure you get out there and you strike, and strike again. Peace out.
Take them shirts off, fellas. Take them shirts
Let's
off.
go. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.